Good evening. We begin tonight by talking about the American elections. After all, November the 5th, Election Day, is now not very far away. Now, you might have thought that the complaint about the advert that went out that we discussed yesterday for Labour staffers to go to America, you might have thought that that argument had gone away, but it hasn't, of course, because it turns out that top Labour officials not only went to the Democrat convention, but that it was paid for by the Labour Party. And a couple of photographs appeared of President Biden earlier this year, but still within the election period, with Labour MPs. Is this unnecessary interference? Do the Trump campaign have a point? What does it do to Britain's relations with the USA? We'll talk about that. But far more important than that is, if you look at the polls, if you look at the betting markets, it would appear that over the course of the last couple of weeks, something of a change has happened. Now, I learned today that a French financial markets trader has bet $45 million on Trump to win. So it could be that the markets are not reflecting reality, just the sheer weight of money that's gone on Trump is giving us this impression. I don't know the answer to that any more than you do. But have a look at Kamala Harris today talking about Donald Trump.
It's deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans. All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is.
And this followed up by a tweet, and a really very, very strong tweet, in fact, one that some people think actually perhaps was even insightful. Donald Trump is out for unchecked power. He wants a military like Adolf Hitler had, who will be loyal to him, not our Constitution. He is unhinged, unstable, and given a second term, there would be no one to stop him from pursuing his worst impulses. Well, folks, let's be straight about this. Trump also throws back insults. You know, he says that Harris isn't very intelligent, etc. It's an election. It's a rough old game. But I just wonder, is the language and behaviour of Harris invoking Hitler, etc. Now, all right, somebody who worked in Trump's office said that Trump had said that Hitler's guards were loyal to him. But you know what? People coming in late on trains to London often joke that Mussolini ran the trains on time. I wonder, is Trump winning this election? Is that why we got that kind of reaction from Kamala Harris, who, when she first took over the candidacy, appeared to be very relaxed and very laid back? Is Trump winning? Let me know your thoughts, please. Farage@gbnews.com or tweet using the hashtag FarageOnGB News. I'm joined in the studio with Suzy Stride, political commentator. And Suzy, you have been out in America campaigning for Kamala Harris.
I have.
So you're now in the dock.
Yeah, I know. Knock me up.
So, now, I mean, the Federal Election Commission rules are actually very, very clear. They're very, very simple. That, you know, you can go to America and give your view and say what you like, just as Americans can come here to do it.
Yeah.
But you can't be paid to do it by a political party, a foreign political party. And you also can't influence decision-making within the parties. Now, that may give Morgan McSweeney a bit of an issue because he ran the Labour campaign. But let's deal with you first. So you were there. Have you been before to America and campaign?
No, I haven't. I'd love to have, but this is just the first time where it was financially feasible to, obviously, because you pay your own way. You know, I paid my own accommodation, my own flights, and, you know, went into Nevada. It was great. It was great to knock on doors and whatnot. And again, I do think it's important with this. This is something that's always happened, you know, and I personally do think this is a non-story. I think this, you know, I have no idea why it's got this big. And I don't actually think it's good for democracy because we're making a big deal out of, you know, young adults, predominantly young adults in this country, from both parties, because, I mean, you've got Liz Truss, who's not a young adult, but there you go, going over as former Prime Minister.
But she's not being paid by the Conservative Party.
Yeah, but the thing is...
Using the internet without a VPN is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. We want to help protect you. This video's sponsor, Private Internet Access, is the VPN to help keep you safe. Now, you might be asking, what is a VPN? Well, a virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. This way, it shields your digital life from the eyes of those that are looking to exploit your private information. Whenever you connect to the internet on a public Wi-Fi network, such as at airports, coffee shops, friends' houses, or even in your own home, your data is at risk of being stolen. Hackers that are connected to the same Wi-Fi network have the ability to steal your personal data with ease. T-Mobile reached a settlement this year with the US Federal Communications Commission after they suffered data breaches in 2021, 22, and 23. In 2023 alone, over 37 million customers' data was exposed. And it's not just hackers to be concerned about. Information can be censored. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news content that you love. Private Internet Access is available for all platforms: Windows, macOS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one Private Internet Access subscription to protect an unlimited number of devices at the same time. Plus, we've got a huge GB News discount. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get 83% off PIA. That is under £2 a month, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. So head to piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
I wasn't paid by the Labour Party. You know, I just popped over there.
Susie, I accept, right, that you went of your own volition, you did it, you went to Nevada, the weather was great, you thoroughly enjoyed it.
Bit too hot.
And there's a big buzz around an American presidential campaign. The problem Labour have got is twofold. One is McSweeney, when he went over to America, it was said in the press he was going to explain to the Democrats Labour's targeting strategy. Now, that would be a problem.
I mean, again, I'm sorry, but I don't think that is a problem. I mean, why is it?
It is with
I think it's a
American
problem basically because it's the Labour Party. Because look, John Major sent his lot over there, and it did cause some problems.
It did.
But you know, ultimately, you know, that did happen. And I mean, I wasn't around them. I was a kid, so I can't remember. But I bet the media were not going mad about that. And I don't think the point is this has always happened. There is nothing unusual about it. I actually would say, and I would challenge and say, it is good for democracy that we learn from each other.
But you paid your own way. The Sophia Patel advert to Labour staff didn't say anywhere that they wouldn't be on full pay, didn't say anywhere they need to buy their own aeroplane tickets, and say they'd have free accommodation. I mean, you know, they're the words there.
But you know what I can say to you?
That is problematic.
But you know, no, the reason why that's not problematic is this. I have been a Labour Party member and activist for 20 years, OK? The reason why I have never gone out, and I would love to have gone out, especially for Obama, is because I'd have to have paid my own way.
Well,
because there wasn't free options to go.
Why didn't she say so?
Well, because she's got a few words to say it, very punchy in a social media. I feel so sorry for her because I think she's fantastic. And I just think that this is what's happened. It is absolutely normal. In the same way that Republicans came over here and campaigned for the Conservative Party, in the same way that Tories go over there and campaign, in the same way that you've gone over there and campaigned. And I think by making this a big deal, I think we literally make our politics poorer. We make our cultural experience poorer because we are going to put off people in the future feeling like they can go over.
No.
I bet you any money that those paid their own way.
All right, at best, that was incredibly badly worded, right? At best.
At best, you probably didn't realise that the right-wing press were going to jump all over it and make a big story out of something that's not a story, and there's far more bigger stories going on.
Well, if you've broken American
far more bigger stories going on.
Well, the really big story is that America's our most important ally in the world.
Well, the big story is Donald Trump, let's be honest, is a bit like a spoilt brat. Let's be honest.
Well,
let's be honest.
hang on,
I look at this. I fear for my child sometimes. He's just sitting out there watching me. And I think, I really hope Donald Trump doesn't win, because this behaviour, making such a big deal out of this. I've just been in America. Let me tell you, I saw shocking levels of homelessness in San Francisco. Yes, it's a Democratic state.
All in Democrat-run states.
Yes,
all of it in Democrat-run states.
Look, I mean, and there is a challenge there for the Democrats on there. But the fact is what's such a non-story that we're talking about this? We've got far greater things to be talking about. Far greater things that actually our news people should be talking about.
Who's the leader of the Western world matters, right? Whether we get a Democrat president or Republican president really matters.
It does matter.
In the light of the Middle East, Ukraine, what could happen in Taiwan, etc. It matters hugely. I suggest to you that the video I showed earlier, the tweet I showed earlier, Harris is now on the back foot and just lashing out.
I mean, look, I don't know, but the fact is if Donald Trump did say that, I mean, it's quite a concerning thing to say. And I think that this is the thing, it's really interesting. When I spent time in America, I met Republicans who were like, we are not voting for Donald Trump because there's this huge, I mean, honestly, you cannot over-exaggerate the amount of concern that people have about the way that he is. And I'll be honest with you, it's like, would you want him to be the head teacher of your kid's school? Do you know what I mean? Would I leave my kid alone with him in a room? No, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't.
Do you know what?
He may be a force of nature.
Do you know
he
what?
may be a force of nature, but the unpredictability.
No wars, increased wealth. It was a very successful 4 years.
No, I just think,
you might not like
so happened.
You might not like it.
It's not about that. For me, it is even these things about, saying to England what they're going to do about trade, and they may make it really difficult. Like, I mean, that's just not a good way to be a global world power, is it? You want to work with other democracies.
Do you think he's going to win?
I pray, because I am a prayer.
No. What do you think?
I don't think he's going to win, but I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think he was going to win before, and I still remember that moment. I also didn't think Brexit was going to happen. So, for me, look, we can only hope and pray that he doesn't, because I don't think it's going to be good. I don't think it's good for NATO. And I think, Nigel, you can agree with me.
He's the best thing for NATO ever. He made all the other countries increase their contributions. The Secretary-General of NATO thought he was a great thing for NATO.
And for Ukraine, pulling out of that war. Is that positive?
Do you think he will?
Is that good? Well, I don't know.
No,
but I just think that is not good. You cannot have someone like Putin winning.
He might want to try and negotiate a peace. And there may be a price to that peace, but equally there's a price to the continued war.
I just don't like bullies, and I think he comes across as a bully.
Well, Suzy Stride there doesn't like Donald Trump's personality, doesn't like his outlandish nature, and she's not alone in that, and I fully understand that. But I tell you what, folks, believe me, he is going to win on November the 5th. I'm absolutely putting my head over the parapet on this.